Hello, Colts Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the No Horsing Around podcast. As always, I am one of two dudes talking Colts. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Burton, and it's the 24 hours, you guys. We got a 24-hour rule over here. We live with it, we die with it, we move with it, and we have taken our deep breath. And the weight has been lifted, and we are coming off of the 1-0 for the week Colts victory. Obviously, Colts go down to Miami and pick up a much-needed 27-17 victory against the Jacoby Brissett-led Dolphins. Obviously, on today's show, we kind of do a high-low kind of thing where we talk about what we liked, what we didn't, go a little bit deeper. If you want to see, in my opinion, what a true Colts fan looks like coming off of the victory, please go back and watch the instant reaction video from my boy Zach, my co-host. He gave his immediate reaction. Just a little behind the curtain on that one. That was done like 10 minutes after the game ended. We had some technical things. It took a while for it to get up for you guys. So you want to see what a true Colts fan looked like after the game, immediately after kind of getting that first victory of the season after being 0-3. That's a great video. Go back and watch that. As always, we ask you guys to please like, share, subscribe. It's the three key things. Please like the video, share it, subscribe, and as Zach always says, give a healthy comment. Let's get a good topic going in the bottom, and just join the family, you guys. We're shooting for 500. We got a really, really cool video coming this week with a cross promotion. I'm not going to leave too much, but a pretty cool little thing happening in regards to the Monday Night Football game against the Ravens. So, kind of without further ado, like we always talk about, we kind of just jump right in. We're going to go high-low coming out of the game. And if you're watching, you can kind of see some of the stuff scrolling at the bottom. Some of the highs, getting a win. Let's just be honest, you guys. Like, you needed the win. And producing a little bit in the red zone. It started a little shaky. Like I always say, like behind the curtain a little bit. Me and Zach talk every day, and I know it would be fun to tell you guys some of what's said, but I can tell you this. What was happening in the first quarter of the game, Zach texted me and was like, dude, we look really, really bad. And you go on Colts Twitter and Colts Facebook, and a lot of people were starting to freak out. But it kind of seemed like that Carson Wentz rollout touchdown pass to Big Mo was kind of the break the seal, that it was what was so needed to show, hey, we can actually score in the red zone. Then obviously later in the game, he has that amazing pass again, that really more amazing catch for Big Mo in the end zone to go up 27-17 to kind of close that out. End of sentence, no more game for you. So, I mean, coming off of that, red zone offense was great. Red zone, not great. Red zone offense was what we needed it to be. There was some breakthroughs, and we were able to kind of produce. I think Carson had a good, very solid game. You can see it at the bottom if you're watching the video. 24-32, 228 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, and a 115 passer rating, you guys. Like, he had a very efficient game. He looks more mobile. Coming off of the Titans game, I think he was about 50% of the Titans game. I've had people tell me that. I've had Titans fans tell me he didn't look right. Y'all heard me and Zach talk about it too. This game, I think maybe about 85%. He's able to roll out a little bit more. I think one of the funnier things was the post-game presser where he mentioned it was a rollout on third down, and Frank told him, if it's not there, throw it in the dirt or eat a short sack. And he actually slipped a tackle and picked up a first down running. And I thought it was really funny, and it showed their kind of relationship that they have. That he said he went to the sideline and he told Frank, he goes, I made a dude miss and I made a play. So he was feeling better. I think he had a very efficient game. I think he's getting more comfortable with the receivers. He's definitely got a great connection with Michael Pittman Jr. going. I think he's building one. I think he really likes Big Mo now because it's just the size. Y'all know I've joked. I've called him clown hands. The dude's just massive. Jonathan Taylor, breakout game. 16 rushes, 103 yards, 1 touchdown, big time runs and big time plays. He was a guy that we had discussed in the preview show that needed to have a big game. You needed to have a big game from him. You needed to take the pressure off of Carson, take the pressure off the line, let them just go and eat, let them just go and block. And he looked great. He was definitely a high. He looked like kind of the JT of last year. Um, one more offensive high. Mo Alley Cox, 3 receptions, 42 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 big touchdowns, 2 red zone touchdowns, 2 take it off your head touchdowns. And it shows what they were thinking, yet again in the post-game press conference. I thought it was really funny to hear Carson say that when someone asked him about it, he was like, he's just a big dude. And then to hear Frank talk about the fact that they felt this was coming for quite some time, that he was building towards having a game like this. So those are my offensive highs. Some of the defensive highs, I think Rock Ya-Sin continues to play pretty well, play within himself. Got pressure on Jacoby, made him uncomfortable. We talked about it wasn't necessarily you had to knock him off his spot. You had to make him uncomfortable. Don't let him do what he was comfortable with, which was dinking and dunking. Make him try to look downfield. He'll make a mistake. He did. Big Grove had that strip sack that led to, it led to 3 points. We wanted more, obviously, but it was a big play. It was a splash play, and that's what the defense needed. And they got that pressure on him. So, overall, a lot of highs coming out of the game, but don't get it wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's lows. There is some lows. Red zone offense to start with, concerning. Special teams. So let's take a second here because I love Naheem Hines. That was a very high probability of a big momentum shift. You kick the ball off to the Dolphins, you give them the ball, you stuff them, they go 3 and out, they punt it, and you give it back on an extremely short field to Jacoby, who right or wrong, game starts. He knows what he needs to do. He plays within himself. It's just within himself isn't enough to win games most of the time. And you give that short field. And I know Naheem was beating himself up about it, but it kind of sucked because you got what you needed, and then you just gave it right back. So I was pretty upset about that. That's a low for me. Another low, and it's just interesting. Xavier Rhodes has not looked himself, you guys. Xavier Rhodes, I don't know if he's banged up. I know he is banged up. I don't know how severe. He had 2 that I can think of, and drop it in the comments if you think of other ones. He had 2 massive pass interference calls that led to 7 points for the Dolphins. He's not looked like he can lock down the number 1 receiver for these teams. It's a worry. It's a worry because he is supposed to be your lockdown corner. He's supposed to be the guy who can lock up with those number 1 wide receivers, with, Cooper Kupp, who is their number 1 receiver, with Hollywood Brown next week, with Tyler Lockett. I know he wasn't in those games, with A.J. Brown. And he's not looking it right now. He's not looking like he can lock that in. So overall, there's a lot of highs. There's still some lows. You are a 1-3 team, but as we kind of toss it around and we kind of throw it all into a mixed bag, overall it was a great day for Colts Nation. Colts get a win, go to 1-3, and everybody else loses in the division. Titans lose to the Jets somehow. Texans lose, and then obviously the Jaguars had lost on Thursday night. I'm just going to say, I called it to you guys. That's a dumpster fire down in Jacksonville, and Urban Meyer's not going to make it. He's going to make it through this year, but nowhere past that. I'm just saying. I called that in the offseason. I said they're going to be a dumpster fire, and they sure as hell look like it. But overall, it was great. Great day for Colts fans, just because who you needed to lose lost. You picked up your first win. You picked up a very much needed win. As much as we didn't want to say it, we had to say it. It was a must win in week 4, and they locked it in. They're focused. We got a long week now. We got Monday Night Football next week against the Baltimore Ravens. In Baltimore, we know how much Baltimore hates the Colts. They actually, for those who don't know, they don't put the Colts name on the scoreboard inside the stadium. They just put Indianapolis. They don't acknowledge that they're the Colts because they feel that the Colts were stolen from them by Indianapolis. So there's a lot of heat. There's a lot of issue with it. And then it's just it's going to be really interesting. I mean, like I said, a lot of highs, still lows, improving. We're going to see what they got this week. We're excited to bring you guys some more stuff. We've got some really cool things that are going to be happening. But breathe it in, man. Soak it in for one more day. You get one more day until we move forward to the Ravens. Enjoy the win. It's the first one we've had this season. And just then we'll move forward. We'll discuss Lamar Jackson and Hollywood Brown and all these players that are on in the Baltimore Ravens. Yet again, I ask you guys, please like, share, subscribe. If you're subscribed, awesome. Tell a friend. If your friends subscribe, awesome. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You guys know my joke. Friends don't let friends not subscribe to No Horsing Around podcast on YouTube. I don't have anything else. I'm relieved. It was such a relief. I know y'all are relieved. So I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to let you just soak this in. Just soak it in this video. I love you. I know Zach loves you. I'm out of here.